everyone, and welcome back to Liz Sews. Today I have for you guys my November makes. Coincidentally, almost everything I made in the month of November is red or green, but I think that is just perfect for me to share with you guys in November. So the first thing that I have on, it's a little bit hard to see, but it's actually what I'm wearing on my bottoms, and that is I made the Sew Over It Ultimate Trousers. I'm counting this as one of my make 9s for the year. I actually don't think that I'm gonna get all of my make 9s done, but I did have this sort of cranberry sateen that was on my list, and I was planning on making some self-drafted cigarette pants, but once I purchased the Sew Over It Ultimate Trousers, I thought I would go ahead and use those instead. So these went together really, really easily. I actually made these pants and then the dress I'm going to show you later all in the same day. Traced out the pattern, cut out the fabrics, and sewed them all up in the same day. So went together really, really easy. In terms of pattern alterations, I lengthened the front rise and the back rise by I think 2 inches each, so a total of 4 inches added to the rise. I definitely have a long rise bottom to myself. And then I think I added an extra 2 inches onto the length of the pant as well. And then when I put these together, I basted the side seams, the side leg seams. So I just stitched those, and then I put the pants on inside out, and then I used pins to sort of like contour them down my leg because they were a little bit looser in the leg than I had really wanted it to be. I kind of wanted these to be sort of sexy, tight, slim fitting pants. So I put them on inside out and then marked down the sides with pins so that I had them exactly sort of like conforming to my body, and then brought that over to the machine and did the final row or final side seam. That worked really well, I think. I think the pants are fitted exactly how I want them to be. My only thing that I would say I don't love about this pattern is the way the facing is. I might interface the facing, or I need to do something like that. I definitely need to tack it down on my seam allowances because that facing does tend to come out or bunch up if I am not careful. But overall, really happy how these pants turned out. So I'm going to slip into my next dress. So this next dress I have to show you is the So La Di Da Sweetheart dress. I did really good this year, or this month, of using new patterns so that they didn't relish in my stash for too long. I really love the neckline of this dress. I'm kind of regretting that I didn't have this when I made the orange silk dress for my cousin's wedding, because I think this is a neckline that I wish I had then. So I don't think I made any major changes. I did cut out a size smaller than what my measurements put me at, just because I had read a lot of people saying that this dress was a little bit roomy. And I kind of really wanted that sort of tight basque-esque bodice to this. So I did cut one size down. I've used a silk dupioni, and this was gifted to me from Minerva Crafts, or Minerva.com, sorry. And I really had a lot of struggles working with this fabric. I'm not used to using silk dupioni, so I don't know if it's like just indicative of the type of fabric that it is, but I had a lot of unraveling and stuff from the seams. So that was challenging, but it turned out okay. The fabric itself is really, really lightweight. I was thinking about lining it, but then I ended up not lining it at all. I figured I was going to be wearing underpinnings and things under it, so it didn't necessarily need to be lined. I think the only thing that I would change about this is maybe lengthening it a little bit. I think I could easily go another like 2, maybe 3 inches in the length, just to be a little bit flattering. So I did put horsehair braid in the hem of this to give it a little bit more of a kick out, but it's 1 inch horsehair braid. But I in all these pictures and videos, I also have a sort of gigantic Malco Modes Samantha petticoat underneath it as well, because who doesn't love looking like a cupcake? So this is the dress that I had made the same day as those trousers that I showed you earlier, and it was pretty nice because I didn't even have to change my thread out. I can just go, I went directly from the dress into the trousers and everything was the same color. So I'm going to change out of this into my next garment. So the next item that I have to show you is a swimsuit. So this is the first swimming suit that I've ever made, and it's actually, I think it turned out pretty well. Obviously there's things that I would change about it, but for a first attempt, I think it looks pretty good. So for the main body of the suit, I've used the Lulu Cindy pattern. I wasn't as thrilled with the cups with that pattern, so I went ahead and put the Black Beauty bra cups in there, just because I know that it's something that I really enjoy and like, and I think it's flattering on me. So all these fabrics I purchased from Spandex World, I believe, and I'll try to link them down in the description box below. It's lined as well in swimmer lining that I purchased from there. I do think I might make it a little bit smaller if I make another one of this. The only thing, I sort of like made it up as I went along. I hope you'll understand that I'm not going to show you a full body shot of this just because I'm not comfortable with that, but anyway, I sort of made it up as I went along in terms of like how I finished the edges here with this contrasting green fabric. Once I had finished it, I felt like the straps were too minuscule. Straps were probably like 1/4 of an inch thick, so I went back in and added more fabric onto the straps because I just thought it gave it a little bit more balance to the top. So it has the contrasting panel and then green on the sides and then contrasting panel in the back as well. So very happy with how this turned out. This was the first swimming suit that I've ever made, and I think there will be a couple more swimming suits in my future. So next up I have my So Over It Eve dress. Now of course I made this because of the lovely Sean over at Kittenish Behavior toting this as one of her favorite dresses. And when I first made it up, I was a little bit iffy about the fit of the bodice, but I wore it a day at home, and it was really comfortable to wear at home. Normally I would reserve sort of dresses like this for when I have to be at the office or at work. However, because it's rayon, it wrinkles really easy, so it doesn't pack particularly well, so I don't know if I'll use this for business trips or not, but it was really easy breezy and comfortable thing to wear around the house, but made me feel dressed up and special. So I do think that this pattern has a lot of potential, and I will come back to it. I just need to work a little bit about the fitting up here. It's not exactly how I like it. It almost crosses over too far, like it cuts on top of my bust line, and so I need it to cross over not nearly as much so that it sort of scoops under, but we can see about that, play around. Overall, like I said, I wore it a day. It was really comfortable, easy to wear. I think it looks really nice. I absolutely love these flutter sleeves. These are everything. So I want to put those on all the dresses that I make moving forward. So yeah, So Over It Eve dress, and then we can go quickly into the bras that I made this month. So the first bra that I made this month is from the Lulu Cindy pattern, and I did a tutorial for this, and I will make sure to link that up above, that playlist up there if you were interested in learning how to make this. So this one I did with this sort of, it's a jade green, tealy green mirror satin, which has a lot of stretch to it in 2 directions. So it stretches a lot this way, but doesn't have any stretch up and down. So long line bra here, and then I just used black power mesh in the back, and then a long hook and eye tape in the back as well. So this is the long line bra, and then once I finished this and made the tutorial, I went ahead and did the matching panties that go with it. The panties are not included in the tutorial, but I might go back and do that at a later date and show them. So these are high-waisted panties. Here's the front. Again, that stretch satin is gorgeous. It actually has a really nice, it looks like it should be a stable fabric, so it's really cool that it's stretchy, and I love the ability to be able to use it in underwear and bras as well, because that's always an issue of mine where like I make a bra out of duoplex and then I can't make matching underwears to go with it. So This is the front. In the back has that satin panel as well, and then the side panels are made out of power mesh, so it is really stretchy, really comfortable, and nice to wear. I think this would make an excellent two-piece bathing suit. I was looking at the Ipswich pattern to make a two-piece, and it's one that my mom was working on, but she didn't particularly like how the Ipswich turned out. It wasn't giving her the support that she needed. So I might go ahead and make a two-piece out of this pattern instead, just because I like having these high coverage sort of bottoms. And then this does, of course, give me a little bit of coverage down on the tummy area here. So it's a little bit more modest than like an itty bitty string bikini. So the Cindy Lulu pattern. And then the next bra that I made was for Minerva Crafts again, and this is a embroidered tulle fabric that they provided to me, and I decided to make a bra out of this, of course. This is the first time I've done a bra for Minerva Crafts, so that was sort of nerve-wracking. I didn't provide any photos of it worn just because I'm not comfortable with that. They're all flat lays and on the dress form, but I talked to them ahead of time and they said they were okay with that. But I really am happy how this turned out. I did a lot of fussy cutting on the fabric. So I don't know if it's even noticeable here, but the cradles are completely foliage, so no flowers on those. And then the center bridge is highlighting a different portion of the fabric that had that sort of like berry look. And then I concentrated all of the flowers onto the cups themselves. So it's a embroidered tulle, and then I backed it in sheer cup lining. Did make it quite a bit more opaque than just the tulle itself. Like I don't think you can see anything through this. You can slightly, but once it's on, you can't see anything through it. So that's a little disappointment. I think I might want to go back again and make this with a nude sheer cup lining behind it, so you get a little bit more of that sheer look to it. And then I just used all black findings in there. But again, I think this would look fabulous with pulling out some of those different colors from the florals on here. If you could, you know, pull out maybe some of the yellows and the oranges and stuff and put that into the elastics, I think that would be really fun as well. So this is using the Black Beauty bra pattern, and the one that I have adjusted for a plunge wire. And yeah, not a lot to say about that other than I just really think it turned out well. And then the last thing that I made this month was a new pattern. This came out, I want to say it came out in November, but I'm not sure. It's the Chloe Bra, and this is the first pattern released from Natasha of the bra Makery. So I was very, very lucky that Stephanie Sews donated some money over on my Ko-fi, and she said specifically she wanted it to go towards the Chloe Bra. So I bought the Chloe Bra pattern. So I made it up in a 38A. That's the size that it said I should be based on her measuring instructions. I do think the band is a little bit big on me. I measure 34 inches under my bust. So I think this band is too big and I might need to cut it down by at least an inch or so. I tried putting it on the tightest hook, and that seemed a lot more comfortable, like where it should be. Cup wise, the cup is actually, I was worried that being an A cup it was not going to be big enough, but it's plenty big. It fits really well in the lower cup, but I do have some excess material in the upper cup of this pattern here, but that should be a fairly easy alteration to make. And then the only other alteration I saw that I needed is, I don't know if you can tell here, but I need to increase the wire line because my wires did not fit within the bra itself, so they sort of stick up further. I just used sheer cup linings, sheer tricot. I purchased this from Bra Builders. It's really, really cheap. I want to say it's between $3 and $5 a yard, and a yard will make easily 5 or 6 bras for me. So it's a fabric that I like to do when I'm just testing out a pattern, because it is stable, it is a knit, so you do get, you know, some sort of idea of how that's going to fit, but it's a little bit less expensive. So I think this bra itself is probably going into the bin, but you know, I have to make bras like this so that I can understand what changes I have to make. And one thing that I really do like about this pattern, I don't know if it's super visible here, but the contours of the lower band, how it sort of like curves up and down, I think that's really gorgeous, and I think it looks really pretty on as well. So it has a lot more curvaceousness down there. So I think this pattern has a lot of promise. I need to make some alterations to it, which is true of almost any pattern that I made. Like it's very rare that I'll have something like the Black Beauty where it fits me perfectly out of the envelope, but I do think it's worth putting in the time and the effort to get this pattern up to where I want it to be. So that is everything that I made in the month of November. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time.